The Summit Preparatory Committee provides more updates to the media. President Moon Jae-in's itinerary includes at least 2 meetings with Kim Jong-un during his stay in Pyongyang. Around 90 officials from South Korea traveled to the north to carry out various preparation efforts. The team tests communications between the situation rooms in Seoul and Pyongyang and inspect routes the South Korean delegation will take. News Center begins now. It's 8 p.m. here in Korea, live from our studio in Seoul. This is Arirang News Center. Welcome to our program. I'm Daniel Choi. Once again, our starting point is the summit's main press center set up over the weekend at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza in Seoul. That's where all the footage will come from when President Moon Jae-in is in Pyongyang. Our Cheongwade correspondent Hwang Ho-jun is standing by for us there. Ho-jun, what can you tell us right now?
Well, Daniel, President Moon's agenda for his summit meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was revealed this morning. According to Presidential Chief of Staff Im Jong-seok, who's also heading the preparatory committee for the summit, the following topics will be on the table for the two leaders: improving and developing inter-Korean relations, mediating and promoting talks between Pyongyang and Washington on denuclearization, and finally, reducing military tensions and ending the threat of war. Interestingly, this will be the first time the denuclearization issue has been discussed between the two leaders as an official part of the summit agenda. Take a listen.
Whether an agreement emerges on specific ways to move forward on denuclearization, and whether such an agreement will be put into a document or be announced orally, we can say nothing with any certainty at this point. That's why it's important for the two leaders to hold frank discussions.
Well, Ho-jun, this will be the third summit happening over in Pyongyang, and the last one taking place over a decade ago. There's got to be a lot of excitement among the reporters over there.
You're absolutely right. Well, the press center, the Seoul Press Center, which is set up here at the DDP, is already full of reporters coming in from both Korea and from abroad. And as of 3 p.m. today, a total of 2,690 media personnel, among them 450 journalists from 28 other countries, have registered to be here. That number will likely go up as more register on site. Earlier in the afternoon, South Korea's Prime Minister Lee Na-kyun also stopped by to check on the facility. Now, Daniel, it seems like we'll be able to once again hear the oohs and ahs here at the press center, just like we did last April, as the Blue House confirmed certain events during the multi-day summit will also be broadcast live on television to an international audience. This will, in fact, be the first time that an event held in Pyongyang has been beamed live into Seoul. Senior Presidential Press Secretary Yoon Young-chan said during his press briefing that the first live broadcast will kick off from President Moon Jae-in's arrival at Seoul Air Base until his plane takes off. And Yoon Young-chan said he plans to brief the media at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Korea time tomorrow. So we'll definitely continue to bring more detailed updates for our later newscasts. Back to you.
All right, we will continue to rely on you for the updates, Ho-jun. We appreciate it. South Korea's head of Summit Preparatory Committee revealed the details of the meeting up north, including the president's specific schedule in Pyongyang. Our Ko Ryuni gives us a brief overview of the 3-day trip.
Talking to reporters on Monday, the head of the Summit Preparatory Committee, Im Jong-seok, painted a clear picture of South Korean President Moon Jae-in's 3-day trip to Pyongyang. On Tuesday morning at 8:40 a.m., President Moon is expected to depart from Seoul Air Base to arrive at Pyongyang International Airport at around 10 a.m. Im said an official welcome ceremony will be held, followed by lunch. The summit between President Moon and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will start after lunch. The first meeting is expected to last until the late afternoon, and Moon will end his first day by watching an art performance. On Wednesday, Moon and Kim will start their day with another meeting. Im added that a joint press conference might be held if the talks go smoothly. After spending a busy morning together, the two leaders will catch their breaths at Ongryugwan, a restaurant in Pyongyang famous for its cold noodles. Moon and his entourage for the summit will visit the main facilities in Pyongyang. And the Blue House said an additional afternoon meeting with Kim Jong-un is also a possibility. On the final day, Moon may head back to Seoul in the morning or spend more time with his North Korean counterpart. Im said the details of schedule are still being arranged with the North and added that they are subject to change. The Blue House also explained how this Inter-Korean Summit is different from the previous ones held back in 2000 and 2007 in Pyongyang. Part of the Inter-Korean Summit in Pyongyang will be broadcast live in the South. Unlike the previous summits, the opening remarks and some conversations will be shown live to viewers. In addition, the South Korean government said President Moon will meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on first day of the trip to discuss the summit agenda, dispensing with the normal formalities. This is also different from the previous leaders who didn't have official meetings with the North Korean leader until the second day of their visit. 고르니, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, the South Korean advance team traveled to Pyongyang to make final preparations for President Moon's visit. Over here in Seoul, the main press center is set up and ready for the summit. For details, let's turn to our Choi-Seong.
At a press briefing Monday, the presidential office's deputy spokesperson said a team of around 90 officials led by the presidential secretary for unification is sorting out the details of the Pyongyang Joint Press Center with the North and testing communications between the situation rooms in Seoul and Pyongyang. The team has also inspected the locations and routes the South Korean delegation will take for the summit. Made up of officials in charge of media coverage, including live broadcast technicians, protocol, and security staff, the advance team arrived in the North's capital last Sunday afternoon. Also on Sunday, the main press center opened at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza in downtown Seoul. The number of pre-registered reporters for the center is close to 3,000 and is expected to grow with the on-site registration. During the summit, content will be picked up by the press room in Pyongyang and sent to the main press center and then delivered around the world. The spokesperson said that the government will update the public in real time on what's happening in Pyongyang. On Tuesday, President Moon Jae-in will head to Pyongyang by flying directly across the border on the western side of the peninsula. Choi-Seong, Arirang News.
Heads of South Korea's major conglomerates will be traveling with President Moon's entourage. They are looking to help foster possible business projects between Seoul and Pyongyang. Kim Yam-sung outlines who they are and what's expected of them.
Out of the 52 special members of President Moon's entourage to Pyongyang, 17, about a third, are business figures. Those 17 include Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong, Hyundai Motor Vice Chairman Kim Yong-hwan, SK Hynix Chairman Choi Tae-won, and LG Chairman Gu Kwang-mo.
At the 2000 and 2007 summits, the heads of the four groups were part of the delegation. When denuclearization goes well and there's progress in inter-Korean relations, we believe peace would mean economy, and economy peace. Companies have done a lot of preparatory work too.
The four Korean titans specialize in electronics, telecommunications, and vehicles and are expected to give a push to President Moon's new economic map, which includes reconnecting rail and roads between the two Koreas. In addition, companies that were involved in past cross-border business projects are part of the special entourage. Hyundai Group, which led the Mount Kumgang Tourism Project and the Inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex, will be represented by its chairman, Hyun Jung-in. Heads of POSCO, Korea Development Bank, and Korea Railroad Corporation will also attend the summit.
The list of business leaders sends North Korea a strong message that cross-border economic projects can be pushed for actively once the details of peaceful denuclearization are fleshed out.
According to the Blue House, South Korean business leaders are expected to meet with Lee Yong-nam, North Korea's Deputy Prime Minister for Economy, during the summit. Yet, inter-Korean economic projects and investment into the North would require the lifting of UN sanctions on North Korea, meaning actual detailed projects will take some time before they can be carried out. Kim Hae-sung, Arirang News.
Among Seoul's 150 delegates heading to Pyongyang are representatives from sports and culture. They will likely discuss inter-Korean exchanges in their respective fields. Won Jung-hwan explains further.
From Pyeongchang to Indonesia's Jakarta and Palembang, the two Koreas have recently competed together in international sporting events, and there are efforts being made towards more inter-Korean sporting cooperation in the future. South Korean table tennis legend Hyun Jung-hwa is among the delegates who is hoping to promote further ties through her special visit to the North Korean capital. Hyun, a 1988 Olympic gold medalist and three-time world champion, said she wants to see the two Koreas continue their recent joint efforts in table tennis. The Koreas have already competed under one flag at two international table tennis competitions this year. Following the unified team at this year's World Table Tennis Championships in Sweden, the Koreas fielded 4 unified teams at the Korea Open in Daejeon, with the mixed doubles duo of Chang Woo-jin and Cha Yo-sim winning gold. And amid the recent Asian successes in Jakarta and Palembang in canoeing, rowing, and women's basketball, Hyun said she is hoping that the two Koreas can field joint teams in table tennis at both the upcoming World Championships and the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics. Besides Hyun, 3 other sports figures will be making the trip to Pyongyang. Lee Gi-heung, head of the Korean Sport and Olympic Committee, Cha Bum-gun, former player and head coach of the South Korean men's national football team, and Park Jong-hwan, captain of the unified Korean women's hockey team at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. The delegates will head to Pyongyang to propose possibly co-hosting the 2032 Summer Olympics and the 2034 World Cup. Meanwhile, from the culture and arts sector, rapper Jiko, singer Ailey, and producer Kim Young-seok have been invited to the north as part of the entourage. The K-pop stars are expected to perform a rendition of Arirang and Our Wishes reunification with the piano during the summit's feast. This will mark the second time that South Korean musicians have visited the north this year, following the group that performed in the north in the spring, which included Red Velvet and Seoyeon of Girls' Generation. The upcoming visit by culture and arts representative aims to bring the two Koreas closer together, and further cross-border events are in the works, including a concert in Seoul this autumn. Won Jong-hwan, Arirang News.
The very week after the summit, President Moon will fly to New York for the UN General Assembly. He requested Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon take care of administrative affairs while he's away. During a meeting with his top aides, the South Korean leader also asked the PM and the National Security Council to be on standby starting Tuesday when he will be meeting with Kim Jong-un. According to the top office, all committee members will be ready for any kind of emergency meetings within an hour's notice. With the 2018 Inter-Korean Summit Pyeongyang just a day ahead, Seoul is keeping Washington updated on the summit preparations. The nation's foreign ministry said Monday that Minister Kang phoned U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo earlier in the day to share the preparations being made for the big event tomorrow and Seoul's latest developments with the North. Pompeo thanked Kang for her explanations and the two reaffirmed their ironclad cooperation. The United Nations will kick off its 73rd General Assembly at its New York headquarters on Tuesday. 97 world leaders and 196 representatives from member states will be attending this year's event. 9 agendas will be covered, including international peace and security and the promotion of human rights. South Korean President Moon Jae-in, U.S. President Donald Trump, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will all be making speeches next week. North Korea's Foreign Affairs Minister Ri Yong-ho is also expected to step up to the podium. With key players of the regime's denuclearization process all present at the event, all eyes are on whether they will hold any bilateral or even multilateral talks. Because the Inter-Korean Summit takes place at Pyongyang, there are limits to media coverage, which is why South Korea's presidential office is operating a main press center in Seoul that will receive the latest footage from the north. Park Hee-jun introduces to us the facility that will also keep reporters up to speed with regular briefings during the summit.
One of the most memorable moments during the April 27th summit in Panmunjom was when South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met for the first time at the military demarcation line. When the main press center in Ilsan, Gyeonggi-do province broadcast live coverage of President Moon stepping over to the north, journalists experienced an overwhelming rush of emotions. The main press center will be playing that same role during the Pyongyang summit, but this time it's in the heart of Seoul. South Korea's presidential office is operating the center at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza to accommodate thousands of members of the local and international media. This is the closest the international media can get to the Pyongyang summit. Details of the meeting will be sent from Pyongyang to the main press center, which journalists will deliver to the rest of the world. The MPC includes a main briefing room, international broadcasting center, interview room, and a master control room. In the main briefing room, journalists will be able to watch live video footage of the summit via 2 giant screens. There will also be debates among different panels of experts. The press center will be connected to an online platform to provide details on the summit in 9 different languages, including English, Chinese, and Arabic. Media members will also be able to access articles, photos, and videos on the summit at any time and any place. The center is scheduled to operate through Friday, a day after the summit ends. Park Ki-jun, Arirang News.
Arirang TV will provide full coverage of the Inter-Korean Summit. Yoon Jung-min zooms in on how the channel you're tuning into right now plans to carry out its duty as the main South Korean English broadcaster of the event.
Arirang TV has been selected again as the main English broadcasting station for the 3rd summit between President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, slated to take place from Tuesday to Thursday in Pyongyang. Viewers from around the world will be able to receive the latest updates on the historic meeting between the 2 leaders, as Arirang will broadcast video content as the footage arrives from the north. Arirang TV's news team will be on standing by at the main press center established at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza in central Seoul, and they join more than 2,600 journalists from around the world ready to transmit all the details regarding the summit as they happen. In-depth analysis and discussions with experts will also take place throughout the week. A roundtable on Thursday will address the outcome of the summit and its potential impact on the future relations of North Korea and the U.S. Moreover, multiple platforms including TV, YouTube, and Facebook will serve to deliver the latest developments on the historic summit to respective audiences around the world. In addition, Arirang TV will also produce virtual reality video content at the press center to let viewers enjoy the best that VR technology has to offer. Back in April, Arirang TV played a key role in delivering up-to-the-minute details of the first Moon-Kim summit, and it plans to do the same during the 3-day Pyongyang summit. For more information on inter-Korean relations and the core summit agendas, live newscasts, and more, visit arirang.com. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Ahead of the Pyongyang summit, experts on the regime gathered at the main press center in Seoul. Discussion centered around what the 3rd meeting between the 2 leaders could produce. Our Cha Sang-mi takes us to the MPC.
At a panel discussion hosted Monday by Arirang News, experts weighed in on the topics that might come up at the Pyongyang summit, ranging from a written promise by North Korea to destroy some of its weapons, to complete denuclearization, to the lifting of U.S.-led sanctions on the regime.
There are 2 kinds of concession, I call it shocking. Number 1 is complete declaration, and report of nuclear program list. It is not going to be easy for him to report, but if he did, it's a shocking concession. Another one is partial destruction of weapons or missiles.
Each expert had different ideas about the summit's outcome, but they agreed that the UN sanctions might be the stumbling block for improving ties and especially for economic cooperation between South and North Korea. That's because the sanctions make it impossible for the Korean leaders to follow through on things they might put on paper. The experts also discussed what the next step might be, suggesting there might be another summit between Kim Jong-un and President Trump. Yet when asked about what the latest Inter-Korean Summit means for the U.S. and the Trump administration in particular, defense expert Harry Kaziani said that the bigger threat for the U.S. right now is its dispute with Beijing.
China is the much bigger threat. In fact, to be very honest with you, if North Korea did not have nuclear weapons, I do not think the United States would be as concerned about the North Korean issue. So I think we have to look at it, the whole situation for the Trump administration and for its Asia policy through that China lens.
He mentioned that President Trump is more engaged with domestic politics at the moment, so he might try to leverage a second Kim-Trump summit for the midterm elections in November. But a Korean expert doesn't think Kim Jong-un will go for that.
My personal opinion is that it is not easy for Kim Jong-un to listen to what Trump says, which means that I don't think it's easy for Kim Jong-un to begin with, declaring what it has, because he cannot trust Trump.
The experts ended their talks with their best wishes for the Pyongyang summit. They called on President Moon to be a guarantor this time, not just a mediator, and to get some concrete result on denuclearization and to bring peace to the Korean peninsula. Cha Sang-mi, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly directed his aides to proceed with fresh tariffs on Chinese goods. The Wall Street Journal reports the measures could be announced as early as Monday. Kim Yo-sun has the latest.
The Trump administration is set to announce additional tariffs on Chinese goods worth some $200 billion. Citing a senior government official, the Wall Street Journal reported over the weekend that the new tariffs could come as early as Monday local time. It also explained that the new tariffs, as instructed by President Trump, will be set at 10%, lower than the initial figure of 25%. President Trump has signaled numerous times during the past weeks that he could slap additional tariffs on a wide range of consumer goods manufactured in China. Aside from such measures, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has made clear that high-level talks aimed at alleviating the trade tensions between Washington and Beijing will be held late next week. While the U.S. aims to squeeze Beijing, the Trump administration's additional tariffs could jeopardize the discussions and lead to fresh retaliation from China. The trade war was initiated by Washington's 25% tariff on $34 billion worth of Chinese goods in July, prompting China to hit back with its own levies on American goods worth the same amount. Kim Yo-sun, Arirang News.
South Korea's exports of information and communication technology goods hit a record high in August. According to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy, last month's ICT exports marked around $20.2 billion. That's the highest since related figures were first compiled in 1996. The rise has been attributed to strong global demand for Seoul semiconductors and display panels. Chip exports jumped more than 30% last month compared to the same period last year. ICT imports marked around $8.7 billion, recording a trade surplus of $11.5 billion. A powerful typhoon has left at least 4 dead as it makes its way deeper into southern China. Local authorities announced that Mangkhut has weakened to a tropical storm, but added it is expected to leave damage along the southern areas of the nation, including Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hainan through Tuesday. According to local reports, more than 500,000 were directly affected by the force of nature, while 3 million residents were evacuated from several cities in Guangdong. As the typhoon makes way into Chinese inland region, Hong Kong, which was slammed by the typhoon on Sunday, has lowered its storm alert level from 10, the highest level, to 3. Authorities say it will take a number of days to repair the damage. Time to turn to Michelle Bach at the Weather Center for the updates you need. Michelle, it's a big day tomorrow on the Korean Peninsula. What's the weather going to be like in Pyongyang, where the leaders of South and North will meet?
Daniel, the weather is going to be pleasant tomorrow. The morning will start out chilly with readings in the teens, but it will warm up eventually by noon, and it will also be a clear, sunny day. Now back to South Korea, some southern areas will receive rain in the afternoon, while mild temperatures with high temperatures will dominate elsewhere. Now checking out the morning lows for tomorrow, Seoul will start at 18 degrees Celsius, while Busan and Jeju are warmer at 21 and 22 degrees respectively. And the daytime highs are expected to linger around 26 and 28 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Now, similar conditions are expected to continue until Wednesday, and on Thursday, another nationwide rain is expected to fall, pulling down both lows and daytime highs, so make sure to dress accordingly. I'll leave you with the weather conditions around the world.
That's all we have for you in tonight's edition of Arirang News Center. Thank you for watching wherever you may be tuning in from.